I'm Tabby.
And I'm Caitlin, and today we are discussing Oathkeeper, on the other hand, by Ellie Lieberman.
Wow. What? A
What a
little
story.
conundrum of a story. You
Yeah,
know?
I was kind of more excited for it before I read it, but that's
And
okay.
once again, not every book we read
It's
is
gonna be our
gonna be a
favorite.
banger.
Yeah, like we wanna give everything a chance. So, like, we'll read the back of the book. First of all, it's rated 3.15 stars on Goodreads. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I rated it 3 stars on Goodreads. So the back of the book says, some promises don't require magic. The most important ones never do. After stealing a dragon egg, an oathkeeper is caught between a few contradicting binding oaths. And that's like all the information we get. And honestly, sounds really intriguing. It's 79 pages, which I think may be to its detriment a little bit,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
It needed to be longer.
for this particular story. Yeah. What would you rate it though?
Okay. So again, my ratings are based off of my feelings in that moment and not
Yeah,
necessarily the book.
absolutely.
I don't think I was ready to appreciate this book at all.
Hmm.
And it just did not really vibe with me in particular. So I
Yeah.
gave it a 4.5 out of 10. I was just having a really hard time following along with the story, and it really took me out of it because I did not get the information I needed to fully understand it. And so it just kind of fell flat for me.
Yeah, that's fair. I rated it a little higher. I
Mhm.
gave it like a 5.7 out of 10 because I did like the concept. I was intrigued, but it just felt rushed. And I felt like we were missing a lot of world building
Mhm.
and relationship context that would have really enriched the story. I think this should have probably been a full-length novel if this is the story that we're
Yeah.
writing.
At least 300 pages.
Yeah, I think
Like,
so.
just give it some more info. I'm all for short stories, though. I love a
I
good
do
short
love short
story,
stories, but
and I feel like
this,
it can be done.
yeah. Oh yeah, it absolutely can be. This just it didn't have the right pacing to be a short story.
No.
Like it just was
You're trying to
rushed.
do too much in too little time.
Exactly. So let's talk about the characters, starting with our main character, and we don't know the names of anyone. They
And
just
that's
are
okay.
characters. Yeah, and I do like that. I felt bad for her.
Yeah, she had a rough, it sounds like she had a really rough life.
And she can't be
Um,
that old. Like she's got to be like a
no.
teenager maybe. I don't
Yeah,
think it
she's a
explicitly
hardened
says.
criminal at the age of, I'm assuming 17 or 18.
Probably. Yeah. Like that's shitty. That's bleak.
Yeah.
And you're like basically enslaved to some dude. Like
Who
pretty much.
sucks.
Yeah. And all of it you're doing to like keep your little sister safe because you don't have any
You
adults in your life that help care for
made a
your family.
promise to your mother.
Yeah.
Okay, Farah, like, I see you. Um, but I do know that she loves fiercely, and that is a
Yeah.
great redeeming quality in a main character.
Yeah.
Um, we do also have the Teller, which was the one character I actually did understand the purpose of.
Mhm.
I thought it was a very, again, neat concept that the library is basically raising these young children to have all of the information in the world and be able to
It's
guide
pretty
and
sick.
inform people. I don't think they were intended to be kidnapped, but um, she did play a very cool and important part of the book. She was kind of our hero at the end.
I really liked again, I do feel like we could have used a little more world building to flesh it out. I really liked the different roles that the magic powers like gave people because being an oath keeper, being a teller, being a healer, these are
Hmm.
all magical abilities that these individuals have. But there are also people without magic who
Right.
can't do any of those things. So
And
there
they don't
was
like people with magic.
Yes, and there was like again like that's a really cool concept. We could flesh that out and it could be a really cool story, but
Hmm.
there was so much lacking to make that shine.
Well, and I feel like if you weren't paying attention either, that's something that you wouldn't catch on to. Like, that's not
Yeah,
something that was just like apparent to every reader.
for sure.
Just that people with magic were hated, and it's like, okay, why?
Why?
Like, what
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah, was there like
What?
a war? Was there? conflict? Was there just jealousy?
Who knows?
Yeah, we don't know. So there's also the librarian and this other healer that they ran into. So the librarian, feel like both of these characters, again, could have been like super cool, but
Yeah.
we just got like a little hint and a wisp and then we were away. But the
And
librarian, especially, because that's kind of like the person who takes care of all the tellers and like
hmm
is in charge of this library or whatever. Um, Seems pretty sick. She seems
yeah.
pretty dope, and I wanted more. And the healer is like this woman
Sh-
who's living in a town pretending to just be like a regular healer, but she's actually got magic
She's
powers.
a healer with a capital H.
Yeah, but she's pretending to not be. And so it's like, okay, that also sounds like it could be so cool. And
But
like,
because I don't know the importance of why magic is so bad, it falls flat for me because it's like,
yeah,
why should I care?
I know, exactly. So everything was like, it almost felt like a teaser.
Yeah. Well, so when I started reading this book, I was like, is this like an in-between novel for a set of stories that
Mm.
I didn't know about? Like perhaps this is like introducing a
Oh,
character from like a previous story this author has written, but no, it is just a
okay.
one-shot book, but
That
it
didn't
that's what
even
it
cross
felt
my
like.
mind. But yeah, you're right. It felt like we were
I
just
feel like I
missing
should already know
context.
who these people are.
Yes. Yeah, especially because we're like right in it at the beginning. It's like she's
Yeah.
already kidnapped the teller. She's already in the midst of stealing a dragon egg. And it's like, I bet you're wondering how I got here. And it's like,
And
yeah,
actually, yes, I
I
am.
am. But then you don't tell us. Anyways,
Teller tells us everything except for what is going
what
on.
the fuck is going on, Queen? The little
What
sister.
a bitch. I didn't like her. I'd have
Dude,
left her.
when she punched her sister in the face, I was like, ah, oh my
Like,
God.
after everything she's just done for you?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
crazy. Yeah,
I'm
I
glad we
guess
didn't see her again,
I'm glad
honestly.
she's
Fuck.
alive, but ugh. But she's on her way back to hopefully go
Yeah.
be with her. And I'm like, ah,
It's probably because their uncle was like a little wart. Maybe
yeah.
he rubbed off on her.
Oh, he did really suck.
He sucked.
Yeah.
And also don't know the importance of him. They disappeared.
Yeah, gone.
Okay.
She just
She,
like escaped him and is like, okay, see you never,
all right,
hopefully.
sounds good. Um, and then Mick, I mean, again, could have been a really cool villain. It sounds like he was like running a little crime syndicate type thing and was
Hmm.
pretty wealthy and popular, not popular, but like successful in what he was doing and has somehow enslaved this teenage girl to his whims. Baller move. But I don't know who you are. What kind of crimes do you commit? What do
Yeah,
you do? Is this a cult?
I think just all of them is what I was thinking. But yeah, like we never know. We never get the answer.
Like your bartender was kind of cunty and I liked that, but like
And I liked that. Again, just we were missing so much
and
and
then he
it could
died.
have been cool. Yeah, and it's like,
And
oh,
then he
okay.
died. And then we
Glad
never
he's not
found
a
out.
problem. But I feel like his death would have hit so much harder if we could have hated him properly.
Yeah, I want to be a hater,
I
and you're
do.
not giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, just give me the deets so I can hate successfully.
Um, Love the dragon, love everything she stands for. I think
I
she's a strong, independent woman.
She's the best character in this book. Well, maybe
Yeah.
other than the teller. Like the fact that she just like showed mercy at the end, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
word.
Like, what
Okay.
a strong queen you are.
Yeah.
She said,
And
let this be a life lesson.
yeah, literally, she's like, yeah, did I murder like everyone looking for you specifically? Did I murder a bunch of people to get to
I did
Yeah,
do
but
that.
I'm gonna let you live. And that's on
And that's
period.
compassion.
I did feel like the ending was just like so
So
rushed though. I
weird.
was like, what the like why didn't I wish the dragon would have killed
And
her.
the dragon's like, and you know what? I'll take it one step further. Let me remove these oaths that you've bound yourself
Yeah.
to.
Yes.
And it's like, oh,
I was like,
okay. And the
why?
teller's like, yeah, mother's love cures all. And I'm like, okay, yeah.
You know what?
You
Hell
know what?
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just a bit rushed and
Sure.
I feel like we could have maybe done better, and that's all right.
Well, I thought she was gonna die because she even said, like, yeah, I
Yeah.
always knew I was gonna die and I deserve to. And I was like, you know what? That would be a valid ending.
And I would have liked it more, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if that what that makes me, but I would
No,
have liked it more.
you chickened out and you didn't
And
commit.
people often do that.
Ugh.
They really
Commit to the
do.
bit.
Commit. Make it, not every story has a happy ending, and
No,
not
she
every story
stole
deserves one.
and she didn't keep her oaths. And for that,
And
she's
for
gotta
that,
go.
it's punishable by death.
It's to the fires.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
the characters. What did we like about this book?
Um, Again, it was short
It
and
was.
it helped me get to my reading goal, and I
Yeah,
appreciate that about it. It was a neat concept
it
with
was.
a lot of potential. Maybe she'll revisit it later. Who's to
Yeah.
say?
So, like, things we liked, it was short, but on the flip side, it was too short. I do want to read my favorite quote from this book really quick.
I have a quote
So,
too.
oh my God. Well, mine's
Mine's
one that I
things I don't
liked.
like.
Yeah. So, this is after the teller like tells her that fable about the girl living among the wolves, and
Oh, I
she's
did
like,
like
"Let this be a
that.
lesson to you." Yeah, like that part was cool. And she was like, "You're reminded of what it is to be human." And then it says, "For is there anything more human than committing a whole lot of wrong to protect one thing that is good?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"You know what? Hell
Hell,
yeah."
yeah.
Ellie popped off with that line.
Ellie, did you come up with that all on your own, girl?
Or
Like,
like, have you heard that before? Because I haven't.
I
And I was
liked
like,
it.
how wise. I've never heard that before,
That
but it's
was
like,
so wise.
that's so very true. Like people will commit a lot of wrongs to do like what they think
They
is
think is
good.
they perceive as right.
Yeah, and it all comes from like their own like world lens. And it's like, yeah, that is so fucking
And
true.
I think that is what it means to be human.
Yeah, because you're fallible. Like humans are
Yeah.
mistaken and make
We're
mistakes. So
imperfect creatures.
yeah, that was cool. I like that.
Ellie. Okay.
Ellie.
Okay.
Okay, and
Um,
now unfortunately we're going to talk about things we didn't like now.
so I thought it was very hateful that there was a quote that said, the only gold you'll find here is sunshine, and you cannot put that in your pocket. And I felt like that was a direct slam towards Natasha Bedingfield,
Hmm.
who wrote cult classic Pocket Full of Sunshine.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, you
0 out of 10.
absolutely can put pocket or put
You
sunshine
can
in your
pocket your sunshine.
you can. You can put pockets in the sun and also sun in the pockets. And that's
So
just physics.
I didn't think you needed to do that. I didn't think that was necessary to the story and disrespectful to Natasha. So
Yeah, agreed. One thing I didn't love is I felt like the author's tone of writing didn't really match the main character, and that's who the like narration is from. And so I felt like the main character is kind of this rough and tumble, like hardened criminal teenager, and then the actual writing was just like very poetic and like kind of like it would have fit more of the teller's vibe. You
yeah,
know, like maybe the teller should have been the
I was getting
narrator.
like Bard vibes, like this.
Yes. And it just didn't match. And I thought that was kind of like disjointed.
This would have been a really cool like D&D
Oh
type
yeah.
campaign. Like I think you could base something off of this.
You could. Because again, it just needs more detail.
It
It's
is
got potential.
the right kind of fantasy. I
Yeah.
do like it.
It is good. Yeah. And then also, anytime the author was like trying to infuse humor into the story, I did just kind of get annoyed because she's not very funny. And or either her or her
You're
characters.
not
They're just not,
funny.
and maybe you are funny, Ellie, but your characters aren't. And it wasn't actually moving the story along. I felt like it was
No,
trying to be comedic relief, but it wasn't funny, and so I was just skimming.
I skimmed a little bit.
I actually do skim a little. It
But you know
happens.
what? Altogether, not the worst thing I've read.
No, it's definitely not. And again, the concept is super cool. I would read something by this author if it was
Yeah,
longer. I
yeah,
actually think it has a better chance of hitting all of my boxes if it was a longer story by this author.
agreed. Yeah,
That
that's
is
that's
Oathkeeper,
Oathkeeper.
on the
On
other
the other
hand.
hand, yeah.
So Join us next week as we discuss Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. It is the second of the Part of Your World series, and it's Brianna's story.
And then the week after, we're going to be discussing The Flesh of the Sea
It's
by
good.
Laura Gislason,
I don't know.
Gislason
Gislason?
and Shelley Levine. Let me tell you what, a little treat this book is.
It
It's
is.
really good.
And I know, like, you're not supposed to judge a book by their cover or whatever, but that is
I did judge
actually
it.
why I purchased this book was because of the cover, because it's so beautiful.
It
So
is.
let that be a lesson to you that sometimes you should judge a book by its cover.
It
Sometimes it
is
works out.
a very fun, interesting short story following pirates. Can't go wrong. Loved it.
Lovecraftian monsters.
Loved it.
We're in for a treat. I can't wait to discuss it. So go ahead, get started on those books if you haven't already. We'll talk to you next time, and as always,
Let's get lit.